somewhere far away. I want you back. I want you back. Talking to the moon right now. Hiding through the window in my room. There's not much I love to say, and I don't have the strength to fight. I feel that it's not like I've been buried in the grave, and you slept in my soul.
In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the Real Gully TV's video, which is titled, Aaliyah once ran to Miami to be with R. Kelly long before her debut album was released. And this is from April 12th, 2021. So it's this year, it's recent. And I took down a bunch of notes. I could have just reacted to the video, but some of the things that he was saying was inaudible, and I found it better to just kind of take notes of little things that he was saying. So I'm going to try to make this sound as in order as possible, so bear with me. I have my notes right here, as you can see, and this is not even the only page. Like, there's more pages. Like, anyways, I'm gonna try to put this in order as best as possible, so bear with me. Without more to say, let's get right into this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment, and turn on your bell post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I drop a video. But anyways, Gully TV interviewed a man by the name Herschel Muhammad, who was once a security for Barry Hankerson and the Houghton family. During this period, he was able to see the inappropriate things that inspired between the two, R. Kelly and Aaliyah, before they made headlines. He was then asked what was his first encounter with Barry Hankerson, and his response was he knew Barry Hankerson back in the early 70s. Barry Hankerson was married to a teacher at the time, and I guess he didn't remember the teacher's name, but she passed away, and she was a principal of Central High School. He then had a son by her named Jomo Hankerson, and Jomo Hankerson is Aaliyah's first cousin. Kobe Young made Barry the first and only assistant deputy mayor under Kobe Young. Barry Hankerson was also thought of highly back then, in the words of Herschel Muhammad. So Barry Hankerson apparently was thought of highly back then by not only Herschel himself, but others. So that's interesting to know. In the description of this video, it said that Aaliyah once ran to Miami to be with R. Kelly long before her debut album was released. And his video is exclusive content, so if you want to go watch him, go ahead. So yeah, whatever I'm saying is exclusive and from Herschel Muhammad's mouth himself. He was then asked how was the meeting between the Houghton family, and he said through the year of '88, lots of people were dying. Kobe received negative publicity. He reached out to Operation Get Down, an organization founded by Barry Hankerson and Bernard Parker. Operation Get Down was a nonprofit organization where there was tutoring, after-school programs, child literacy, and adult blank, because I could not hear what he said. So he also said that Diane Houghton, the sister of Barry Hankerson, was a part of the program, giving out baskets on a daily basis to the kids and the families, which is some interesting details, because I did hear that Diane was a teacher at some point, but she retired from teaching to take care of her children that she had, which is Aaliyah and Rashad. He was then asked the first regulation with Barry, and he said Barry Hankerson was a beautiful man. He recalled the marriage between Gladys Knight and Barry Hankerson, and he said that Barry Hankerson was very talkative, and in his words he said Brooklyn style. Then later on he said that Aaliyah came to him for fitness training, and the offerings were stick boxing training, Muay Thai, which is basically boxing, and he said Aaliyah stuck with stick boxing and her form was good. He also said that he felt they played a part in Aaliyah's tight abs. He was asked when did she stop attending to become a performer. So Honestly, I'm not sure if this is really answering the question. He wasn't really directly answering the questions. He would just give little stories. So I'm just gonna say what he says. If it doesn't make sense, this is what he said. You can go watch it. Maybe it'll make more sense to you watching him say it. But R. Kelly was initially discovered by Demetrius Smith, who wrote the book The Man Behind the Man. And Herschel himself said that he fully backed up everything that Demetrius Smith said in his book, because it came from R. Kelly's camp. And I would really like to get my hands on this, like really, or just read it. Like, I'm curious to know what this book says in the inside. Like, man. Anyways, he then said R. Kelly was caught in bed with Craig Hodges' wife, which is not a shocker to me because R. Kelly is a ladies' man. We should all know that. He was also asked how much time did R. Kelly spend in Detroit, and this is where it gets really, really juicy, because at the time, I guess the Houghtons lived in a house on Sherwood Forest. He asked him how much time he was spent, and he said often, sometimes every week. And this is where it's gonna get you at, and it got me too. And I was like, what? Maybe Wendy Williams does know what she's talking about. He then said R. Kelly stayed at the Houghtons' house for a period of time. How crazy is that? That is some in-depth information. Like, this makes it very possible that Diane could have been doing what they said she was doing with R. Kelly. That is very possible when they said Diane was sleeping with R. Kelly with her daughter. That could be possible too if he was staying at these people's house. And you want to know what? I do believe this Herschel man. I believe every word he's saying. I mean, these stories that these people keep telling are very eerily similar. And it's not just a coincidence. It's crazy that he spilled this information saying that R. Kelly stayed at the Houghtons' house for a period of time. That is mind-blowing to me. And he said this all happened at the Sherwood Forest location. And he also said Aaliyah was not famous during the recording, which is, when did the record / them spending time or her traveling to Chicago happen, basically? And he said it happened during the Back and Forth album, but his response was his wife was a chaperone for Aaliyah, and his wife was out in Chicago with Aaliyah for almost 6 months. 6 months. Herschel's wife witnessed R. Kelly doing something bad to Aaliyah, something disrespectful, and she reported it back to her husband Herschel, and Herschel reported it to Michael Houghton, but he made it clear that he did not want to, really bring this to Michael Houghton's attention, because he has love for the Houghtons. He respects the Houghtons, so he didn't really want to, He said that his wife saw R. Kelly pat Aaliyah on her butt, and she was only 14 at the time, and R. Kelly was about 26 or 27, which is kind of crazy anyways to begin with, because why is she with him anyways? I know she had a chaperone, but that just tells you that if she had a chaperone, what her mom said when she said that she was with Aaliyah 24/7 is just a lie. So that kind of debunks that right there. And he said that that was the first encounter that he and anyone else had saw R. Kelly do to Aaliyah. He asked Herschel, was he a security then? And Herschel said he was not a security yet. Him and Michael Houghton were still running a homeless shelter, which I did not know that the Houghton families were even involved with so much stuff, so many things, so many programs. This is really interesting details. I did not know that Michael Houghton ran a homeless shelter, which is very kind. He then said Aaliyah ran away from home. This is also around the time Aaliyah ran away from home, and no one knew where she was. And he then said Herschel had a meetup at Michael's house with his cousin and all the martial arts of Detroit, and Michael was upstairs when they got together for this meeting. He was just told during that meeting do what he had to do, what they had to do to keep Aaliyah safe. They then realized or figured out that there was a secret phone in the haunted house, which R. Kelly was using to call Aaliyah and tell her what to do, which is really crazy. I did hear about this too, being a secret phone in the house. And that's crazy that he would go that far to give this young girl a phone so that she can sneak all the way from Detroit to Miami to meet up with him. That's crazy. And later on in the video, I'm gonna get to what her parents did after the fact of Aaliyah running away to Miami, what all unraveled after that. We'll get to that later. But anyways, the next page, she left in the middle of the night and ended up in Miami. No one knew anything about it. And this all happened before she was even famous. Keep that in mind. Herschel recalls himself feeling bad because he feels that if he would have done things differently before she even started recording, none of those girls would have gotten touched by R. Kelly. And I couldn't agree more. I'm not blaming him. I'm just agreeing with what he said. But if someone, anyone, like the uncle Barry Hankerson knew, this man knew, his wife knew, they're all saying that Diane didn't know. But I kind of still find that hard to believe. All these people knew, and they could have saved these other girls from going through the same thing Aaliyah went through. And they could have saved Aaliyah too. But they decided to keep it under wraps. He also said that the reason why he never spoke up is because he did not kiss and tell. I kind of understand that, but what do you do in that situation, you know? Herschel never spoke up because he was Michael Houghton's best friend at the time. And while all this stuff was going down, this Miami crap, when Aaliyah, you know, went to Miami with R. Kelly, this was around, he said, 1992 to 1993, or 1992 or 1993. Somewhere around there, this is when that all took place. When he, I guess, told Michael about what was going on between Aaliyah and R. Kelly, Michael came to Herschel and told him not to tell Diane no matter what. And I just did not want to believe that Michael would have something to do with this because, you know, fathers are usually ones that do not play that. They are very protective over their daughters and they won't allow that. But it seems like all of this is switching around to Michael and Diane is in the clear. And you know what? It's also turning around to Barry Hankerson because not too long ago, Barry Hankerson just released a interview saying that he felt like his sister knew everything about what was going on. Which now, when I seen this video, the man is saying that Barry Hankerson knew and so did the dad. But the mother had no clue. So if you made it this far, let me know down below. Who do you think really knew something about this? Was it the dad and the uncle and not the mom? Or was it all three of them? Let me know. He said Michael came to Herschel to not tell Diane no matter what because he knew that if he would have told Diane, she would have called everything off. Which would have been the smartest thing to do because at the end of the day, basically selling your daughter for financial reasons is basically selling your daughter. It's not worth it. Many money opportunities come and they go. She did become a very successful singer out of all of this, but would she have became the singer she was without the help of R. Kelly? Do you think so? He said that her father definitely knew what was going on, which is kind of like, oh my God, like that is so weird. Because at first, I was hearing these stories and they were making it seem like the dad was just not having this. He did not know anything about it. So that's why I went with it. And I kind of believed it because on interviews, he was mainly speaking about her being in check. You know, she didn't really get into trouble, blah, blah, blah. But no, now with this information, this exclusive information, it seems that he did know and the mother didn't. I don't want to apologize just yet because I'm still unsure if she was still messing around with R. Kelly with her daughter and behind her daughter's back. Before the album even came out, there was an inappropriate relationship going on. Herschel and his wife felt that if they just would have told Diane, she would have stopped it all. He said that her father had put that on the back burner for financial reasons. A lot of people were like, they didn't steal their daughter. Sounds like it to me. They let their daughter go off with this man and do sexual acts, and in exchange they were waiting on a better financial. That's selling your daughter to me. He was asked how did Michael and Diane go about it after the Miami incident, and he said Aaliyah didn't want to go on. She did not want to end the relationship between her and R. Kelly because she claimed that she was in love with Robert. She, at the time, was 14. Aaliyah was begging her father not to have anything done to Robert. And this kind of literally is giving me flashes of the movie The Princess of R&B, the Wendy Williams movie, because in that movie, R. Kelly was at the Houghton household and her parents were talking to Aaliyah in this R. Kelly characters, these R. Kelly and Aaliyah characters, and Aaliyah was saying that she was in love, you know. And this makes me wonder, is Wendy correct about everything she put in that? Is the information in that movie true? R. Kelly was in the Houghton household on that movie, and Aaliyah was begging her parents to love this man, basically. And this is what the man is saying. She claimed that she was in love with Robert. She was begging her father not to do anything to Robert, and that would explain why Robert never got in trouble. Barry Hankerson, he said, was doing the same thing. And he also said Robert was with a contract with Jive Records, and Barry was getting 4 to 10% of the cut, basically, and it was a renewal of the contract. So I guess they all were after money, and that's why they kept it on the hush, which is kind of sad. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what she wanted. Would you do what they did, or do you think it's wrong? Let me know. Barry Hankerson was getting 4% to 10% of what R. Kelly was making. So, you know, it was money involved with this family. This family was just money hungry. They were told to keep it going, the relationship. Barry knew R. Kelly was having sexual relations with his innocent niece and never exposed R. Kelly. He sold out for money. And that is the words from Harsho. How long did the relationship go on before people started to say it was too much? Harsho responded with, if Diane knew, it would have never happened. He gave Diane complete credit when it came to that because she apparently did not know anything of the sort. He was asked if he was around during the marriage. He said yes, he was. He wasn't there, but he was around. This is where it gets tricky because I could not understand him. I'll just insert the clip right here so you guys can hear it for yourself.
So how long did their relationship go on before people started to say it was too much? Like it was just too much to conceal?
If Diane, I give Diane credit, if she would have knew from Jump Street, it would have never happened.
Were you around during the marriage?
During the marriage, I was around, but at that time, Diane had pulled my wife. R. Kelly had called out to Hollywood. Barry was staying in California at the time, and he called out to Hollywood, and he said, who is this woman? She won't give me no time with her. She won't give me no time with her. My wife was on him, you know. Yeah. She was everywhere you go, because that's what Diane told my wife. You be everywhere she go. He called out to California, to Hollywood, and told her, I can't do nothing with her around me. Me and Leah leave time together. They pulled my wife back, and for 30 days, my wife sat in the hotel making her money, and Leah, that was the time I think that things probably got cozy.
Right. Oh, so they basically paid your wife to go away.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep.
And she was, what, sequestered?
Yeah, my wife was in the hotel. She'd go to the studio, it was right across the street from the hotel. She'd go to the studio here and there, but it was like R. Kelly didn't want her there, you know, right. Because he was telling, my wife would tell me one time that he would tell her, sing like you making love. Well, at the time, Leah had never made love, and she asked my wife, what is he trying to say? You know?
Right.
Maybe you guys can let me know what you heard at the end, or if you know exactly what he is saying, because I could not make out anything. It was very inaudible throughout this whole interview. So yeah, that is pretty much it for these. This was a lot of notes. This was a lot of information. I can't believe that Michael Houghton knew this. And it was this girl that came in my DMs and she just told me that she has some dirt on the father's name. And wow, I think that this is it. I can't believe that he let his daughter. Why did you guys want a daughter to send her off to have sexual relations with a 25 to 26 year old or a 26 to 27 year old at the age of 14, 12, 13, 14, 15? Like, just think, the abuse, a lot of people don't see it as abuse because she wanted it. As a mother, you should be able to tell that your daughter is up to no good. And from her show, he said that the dad knew and he wanted to keep it under wraps for money. That's ridiculously wild, in-depth information. And like I said, this channel has exclusive content, so nothing is fraud or anything. And for Barry Hankerson to have got on an interview saying that he blames his sister, or he thinks that his sister knew everything about this, but he was also the one who did not want to get R. Kelly in trouble for even, you know, doing sexual things to Aaliyah, is really crazy. That's family for you. But anyways, Aaliyah was a bad little teenager, and you guys heard it exclusively from The Real Gully TV. Exclusive content. But anyways, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Do you remember that one night when we fell in love? What we had felt so right, 'cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up, you know the feelings deep inside. So what we've been through.